Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you how to make this rug. We're using a 4 medium weight yarn. Any 4 medium weight yarn of your choice can work for this project, and the 5mm crochet hook or a 4.5mm crochet hook. If you find this tutorial useful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then also check the description box below. I'm going to list all the sizes for this shrug. So now let's get into the video. So this pattern is a multiple of 3 plus 5. So I'm going to work on size small and extra small. So what you're going to do is that you're going to add 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, and then at the end you're going to add 5. So it's a multiple of 3 plus 5. So for my size extra small and small, I chain 260. This includes the body and the sleeve. So we are just working one panel, and then at the end we are going to separate the body from the sleeve. And in this video I'm just going to make a swatch to demonstrate the pattern to you. So go ahead and add 3 plus 3 plus 3, and then at the end you're going to add 5 into that, and then the amount of chains you have is going to be the body and the sleeve at the same time. So when you finish having the chains, when you finish making your foundation chains, we're going to start working the pattern. So yarn over, and then you're going to make a double crochet into the 8th chain from hook, and this counts as skip 2 chain and 1 double crochet and a chain 2 in between. So when you're done, you're going to chain 2 and then yarn over. You're going to skip 2 chains and then work a double crochet into the next chain. Again, you're going to chain 2, yarn over, skip 2 chains, and then work into the next one, a double crochet. So this is going to be the repeat for the first round. Don't forget to chain 2, and then don't forget to skip 2 chains. Work into the next one. Repeat this until they reach at the end. So like I said, don't forget to check the description box below. I'm going to list all the things you need to know. So when you reach at the end, you're going to skip 2 chains and then walk into the last stage with a double crochet. So this is how the first round looks like. So now for the second round, you're going to chain 5. It counts as a double crochet and a chain 2 in between. Chain 3 is a double crochet, and now you're going to add two chains, and then turn your work, yarn over, skip that first stage and the chain 2, and then to the next double crochet, work 1 double crochet. Again, you're going to chain 2 just like what we did for round 1. You're going to skip 2 chains and then walk into the next double crochet. So repeat this until you reach at the end of this round, and I'll meet you back there. Alright, when you reach at the end of your work, you're going to chain 2, don't forget that, and then you're going to skip 2 chains. Skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and then you're going to yarn over, walk into the next stitch. So our second round is the same as the first round, And then the third round is going to be the same as the second round. You're going to chain 5, which counts as a double crochet, and a chain 2 in between. So this is how you end every round, and you start like this. Turn your work, yarn over, skip the first stitch, and then into the next one you're going to work a double crochet, chain 2, skip this chain 2 in between, and then work into the double crochet. Repeat this until you reach at the end. You're going to end this round like the way we end round 2. When you reach at the end, you're going to chain 2, skip 2 stitches, 2 chains, 1, 2, and then you're going to work a double crochet into the next chain. So this is how you end every round. And when you want to start the next round, you're going to chain 5. So this is going to be the repeats. So you keep on working like this until you have exactly the measurement you want for your shrug, and you can make it as long as you want. It's up to you, it's optional. If you want to make it long, you can do that. So I'm going to repeat this until I have the measurements I want for my size, and I'm going to list all the measurements in the description box below and the sizes, so you're going to check them out and know what you need to do. So repeat this round 1, 2, 3 until you have about 10 centimeter or 11.5 centimeter, 25.5 centimeter or 29 centimeter. Depends on how you want it to be. If you want to make more rounds, you can keep on repeating these rounds until you have your the amount of rounds you want, and then you can stop, and I'll meet you back at the end to work on the next part. So repeat round 1, 2, 3 until you have the length you want, and I'll meet you at the end to show you what to do next. Alright, I have about 21 rounds with me here. As you can see, this is where the first panel looks like. This is the wrong side of our work. As you can see, this is how the wrong side looks like, and you should end at the right side before we separate the neck, before we shape the neck of our shrug. So you should end at the right side of your work. Okay, so now this is the right side of your work. This is how your work should look like, and this is the wrong side of our work. So like I said, you should end at the right side of your work. So you see this, I end at the right side of my work. So the next round is going to be on the wrong side. So I'm going to mention how many centimeter I have. So I have about 24 centimeter without stretching your work. I have about 24 centimeter. You can make more rounds. Like I said, it's optional. Depends on how you want your work to be. So I have 24 centimeter. So now you're going to have some stitch marker to mark for your neckline. So you need to get two stitch marker to mark the exact points for your neckline. So what I did, I skipped 35 double crochet, which includes our chain 2 in between, and then into the next stitch I put my stitch marker. So I will count 35 double crochet, including our chain 2 space in between, and then into the next stitch I put my stitch marker, and I repeat the same thing for the other side. As you can see, I have already worked 35 here, and then put the stitch marker into the next stitch. So I just repeat the same thing. I chain 5, skip, and then walk into every stitch with the chain 2 in between until I reach my breaking point, and then I put the stitch marker into the next stitch. So 35 into the left, and then 35 into the right. So this is the shaping of the neckline. So I'm going to chain 47 chains. So my 47 chains includes the chain before my stitch marker, my first stitch marker. So it includes, so make sure you include the chain next before your stitch marker, your first stitch marker. So I'm going to chain 47 chains. This matches the first panel chain, the chains that I skipped for my neckline. This is from one stitch marker to another stitch marker. So after you have the chains you have for the first panel, you're going to yarn over and then walk into the next double crochet, skipping the stitch where your stitch marker is and the chain 2. Into the next double crochet, you're going to walk 1 double crochet, and then you're going to chain 2, skip these 2 chains, and then walk into the next double crochet. So we are just going to repeat this until we reach at the end of this round. So make sure the amount of rounds you have for the first panel. So now we are working on the second panel. So you should have the same amount of rounds you have for this first panel for the next panel. So just repeat this until you reach the end. I will reach you and I'll meet you back there. And when you reach at the end, you're going to walk into the last stitch, skipping 2 chains, and then you're going to chain 5, turn your work, and then walk into the next stitch. So you're going to repeat what we did for this first panel, nothing different after here. So since I have 21 rounds for the first panel, I'm going to work the same thing for the second panel. Work 1 double crochet, chain 2, and then walk into the next stitch. Repeat this until I reach at the neckline, and we'll meet you back there. Alright, when you reach at this point, we are going to walk into the back bump of our foundation chains. So walking into the back bump of the foundation chains will give us this even look. So we are going to walk into the back bump of this chain. So you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to skip 2 stitches and walk into the back bump of this foundation chains. So from here now, you're just going to skip 2 and then chain 2, skip 2, and then walk into the next stitch as your double crochet. So now you're just going to keep on chaining two in between and then walk into the next stitch. Repeat this until you reach at the end. And when you reach at the end, you're going to chain 5, turn your work, and then repeat the pattern. So from here now, we're just going to chain 5 at the end, turn your work, skip the first stitch, walk into the next stitch with a double crochet, chain 2, and then walk into the next double crochet. So repeat this. So now I'm just going to keep on working and repeat what we did for the first panel, and I'm going to repeat this until I have a total of 21 rounds, just like the same rounds I have for the first panel, and I will keep on working until I have that amount, and I will meet you at the end to show you what to do next. Okay, I have a total of 21 rounds. I am finished with the body panel. As you can see, everything is finished. So what is remain is to separate the body and the sleeve. So from here we are going to separate the body from the sleeve. So get your measuring tape, and then you're going to measure your work, and then measure your work. And for my size, small and extra small, I have 42 centimeter. So for those of you who want different sizes, I'm going to list that in the description box below, so you're going to check it out. I have 42. This measure from one side of my arm and then into one side, which is the left and the right side of my arm. I have 42 centimeter. So I'm going to count 5 double crochets. This is where my measuring tape starts, and I'm going to take a stitch marker and then place it there, and I'm going to repeat the same thing for the other side. So starting from here, this is where my measuring tape starts, and then I'm going to count another 5 double crochet into the next side, and this is where my measurement stop. So I have 42 centimeter for my own size. So flip your work, and the wrong side of your work should be facing you like this, because we are going to separate the sleeve from the body panel. So put the two panels together like this. And then repeat the same thing for the other side. Count 5 stitches away. Make sure your work is lining up properly. Alright, from this now, as you can see, I have separated my the body of my shrug from the sleeve. This is the size I have. This is my size, and this is the sleeve. So from where the stitch marker is to the down is the sleeve. This is the length of my sleeve, and it is the same thing for the other parts. So the left sleeve and the right sleeve should be measured the same, exactly the same. So now we are going to put the sleeve together by making a slip stitch to join them together. But first we are going to weave in the ends of our yarn. So take your tapestry needle and we are going to hide the remaining yarn we have. So you should do this into the wrong side of our work. So just find some space into the stitches. Try to hide the remaining yarn you have a little bit. And you're going to repeat this for the other tails of yarn you have. So when you're done, you're just going to cut that off. So you're going to hide it as much as you want. So repeat the same thing for the others. And for us to put this sleeve together, make sure your work is facing, the wrong side of your work is facing you up. So now to put this sleeve together, make a slip stitch with the same yarn you use to create a shrug. And then into the first stitch, go in with your hook. This is our chain 5. You're going to the third chain from hook and then into the next stitch, go in with your hook and then pull your yarn through that stitch. And then make a chain, pull that in. So we are going to make a slip stitch. So join the sleeve, we are going to use the slip stitch method. So doing this, we are going into the top of every stitch instead of going in between. And if you think that the hook is so big to go into every stitch, you can use a smaller hook to make it easy for you, because you'll be going at the top of each stitch instead of going in between the spaces. So we are going at the top of every stitch to make the slip stitches. So as you can see, maybe using the bigger hook will be hard on you. So go into the top of every stitch and then make a slip stitch, and then into the double crochet, repeat the same thing. So this is how we're going to join both sleeves. So when you finish joining this first one, you're going to repeat the same thing for the second sleeve. And when you're done, you're just going to weave in the ends of your yarn and cut them off, and you're going to flip your work into the right side of your work. Alright, so repeat this method until you reach your stitch marker, and I will meet you back there. So I'm going to repeat the method until I reach the point exactly where my stitch marker is, and I will meet it back there. Alright, when you reach at the end exactly where the stitch marker, this is where you're going to stop. So you're going to chain one and then cut off the yarn within the remaining yarn, and repeat the same thing for the second sleeve. And you're going to weave in all the remaining yarn of your project, and then you're going to flip your shrug into the right side, and that is the end of our project. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you do, don't forget to leave a comment, a subscribe. So go ahead and repeat the same thing for the second sleeve, and that is the end of our work. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you back in my next video. Bye.